How was your night last night?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Say what's up to the vlog.
Hello, vlog.
How did you feel like it last night beating Jake Paul?
What's the name of the vlog? KJ Camp. Shout out to the KJ Camp supporters.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice talking to you. How are you?
No, sorry.
I'm a little fucked up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
So here's what went down that nobody saw coming. Logan Paul completely lost it and physically threw Anthony Joshua out after AJ showed up at the hospital to check on Jake following that devastating knockout. What started as a respectful visit turned into absolute mayhem when Logan's protective instincts kicked in, creating a confrontation that left everyone's jaws on the floor.
Yeah. How's he doing?
Anthony Joshua had made his way to Jake Paul's bedside, displaying the kind of sportsmanship you'd expect from a champion, even after delivering that brutal knockout. But Logan Paul was having none of it. Running on pure emotion and rage, he went full attack mode like some kind of guard dog, physically shoving Joshua away while trying to flex his dominance. The whole hospital scene turned into complete bedlam in seconds.
Yo, doing me, man?
The hallway tension hit a breaking point when Anthony Joshua walked in with that unshakable composure he's known for. Logan Paul completely lost his cool, letting anger and panic drive his actions as he tried to make some kind of power play. Security had to jump in immediately to hold Logan back, while Anthony's mere presence took control of the entire situation, transforming a simple visit into an incredible show of raw authority. Duke McKenzie came out swinging with his analysis, completely tearing apart both Paul brothers. Logan's wild outburst looked completely amateur hour and pathetic, while Jake lay there helpless after that knockout, unable to do anything. Anthony Joshua stood in sharp contrast, radiating pure dominance and control, making the whole encounter look like a clinic on how real authority works. The brothers got embarrassed on the most public stage possible.
He said, and everybody knows, he's not a real boxer. There's levels to this game, and he was way out of his level, way out of his depth.
Logan Paul's own statements completely betrayed his desperation. He kept going on about his brother's shattered jaw, desperately trying to hide how mortified he was, but every word just proved how completely dominated they both were. Anthony Joshua moved with surgical precision, taking apart the Paul brothers without even breaking a sweat. Logan's rage only made his humiliation worse, turning his attempt at being tough into a complete joke.
Mr. Moss, then he broke my brother's jaw.
Carl Frutch nailed his commentary, perfectly describing the madness as it unfolded. The Paul brothers were stumbling around like complete rookies, while Anthony Joshua moved with ice-cold calculation. His every glance and movement radiated pure command. Frutch's shock matched what everyone watching felt. How does anyone even begin to compete with that level of complete control? The whole thing was equal parts boxing lesson and total breakdown.
Bullshit, but where does he go from here? What does he do? I'm not even arsed, man. I can't be arsed with this bullshit anymore, this clown world. It's a joke shop. It's just a big fucking...
Duke McKenzie made it crystal clear that the Paul brothers' tough guy act got completely destroyed. Jake's shattered jaw served as the perfect reminder that talk has consequences, and Logan's fury couldn't hide how powerless he really was. Anthony Joshua stayed cool and calculated, orchestrating a public destruction that went way beyond just the fight, making everyone wonder how anyone could possibly challenge him at this point.
Anthony Joshua did that too, because now he won't be able to talk like he does for a while. But
Eddie Hearn caught a fascinating moment behind Anthony Joshua's usually bulletproof composure. Even when Logan Paul tried his best to get under his skin, Joshua barely flinched, and his authority still dominated every single movement, measured and deadly accurate. Logan's desperate attempts looked completely bush league compared to a champion whose presence alone commanded the entire room.
The push was, listen, we've seen worse, you know what I mean? But lively, and what followed actually was one of the few times that I've seen Anthony Joshua unravel, if you like, because normally he's very composed, but you can't be composed when a man's talking to you like that.
Johnny Nelson hit the nail on the head about Jake Paul receiving the most brutal wake-up call possible. He strutted in believing he could go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua, only to get completely demolished and exposed for what he really was. Logan Paul's pathetic theatrics just made the embarrassment worse, making both brothers look like amateurs fumbling around in a real champion's shadow. Joshua's calculated precision and dominance proved he wasn't just beating Jake, He was systematically destroying everything the Paul brand represented. This went beyond just winning in the ring. It was a complete mental and reputation-destroying knockout for both siblings.
You've got to make this kid have a reality check. And that's what he actually did, because Jake Paul himself said, I was shattered. You know, this guy, everything I thought.
Vitaly Klitschko perfectly explained why Joshua's impact reaches far beyond this single fight. While Jake and Logan Paul struggled and flailed, Anthony's victory represented more than just beating an opponent. It sent shockwaves through the entire boxing community. Every technique demonstrated skill, authority, and ice-cold composure. The Paul's antics appeared juvenile, completely overshadowed by Joshua's reach and commanding presence. He didn't simply win, he strengthened his legacy, expanded his influence, and left the Pauls scrambling to stay relevant in a narrative they were already losing control of. Today's victory was the statement.
The exposure to more people, even though he's mad famous, as we know, like, there's a community he hasn't touched.
Eddie Hearn broke down the calculated genius behind Joshua's entire performance. Jake Paul's running tactics only delayed what everyone knew was coming, but Anthony's patience and surgical precision made that final knockout absolutely inevitable. The devastating shot that fractured Jake's jaw wasn't just about physical damage, it was a public showcase of his complete superiority. Logan's pathetic attempts to step in or defend his brother only added more layers of humiliation. Joshua's control was so total that even their supposed toughness couldn't prevent the Pauls from looking tiny, incompetent, and completely outmatched.
Yes, it took AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, and then he knocked him spark out and broke his jaw. It was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding.
Johnny Nelson dropped some serious truth about what facing Joshua really meant for the Pauls. Neither Jake nor Logan evolved as fighters. They got publicly exposed for their true level. Joshua's elite skill, composure, and strategic genius highlighted the massive canyon between a proven champion and social media stars playing dress-up as boxers. Every failed strategy, every panic move by the Paul brothers just emphasized how unprepared they really were. This wasn't just a victory, it was a legacy-defining moment that humiliated the Pauls completely, proving that all the hype in the world can never replace genuine skill.
Anything for his career, for his bank account, everything. For his development. I don't think he did anything for his development, because he didn't have somebody in front of him that wanted to test his development.
Duke McKenzie broke down the Paul mindset with surgical precision. Right from the opening seconds, Jake Paul's game plan wasn't about boxing skill, it was pure desperation. He ran, backpedaled, and tried everything to delay the inevitable, like a terrified amateur thrown into a lion's cage. Logan Paul's frantic posturing ringside just made the humiliation worse, making both brothers appear incompetent across the board. Anthony Joshua demonstrated real championship mastery and control. He methodically picked apart his opponent, allowing Jake to exhaust himself before landing the finishing sequence. This wasn't just a contest, it was a clinic in superior technique, intelligence, and ring command. Joshua didn't need any theatrical nonsense. His aura alone controlled the rhythm and result. The Paul's credibility took massive damage, proving that social media buzz and online bravado can never compete with authentic talent and ring wisdom.
Jake Paul knew exactly what his tactics would be going into that fight. He was in there just to survive. He wasn't in there to win. He didn't even try to win. He couldn't win. So when you know your mindset, you know in your mind's eye, I can't win that fight. What do? I've got to survive. How do I survive? I've got to run like a...
Eddie Hearn broke it down without mercy. Jake Paul never stood a real chance. Pure survival mode was his best case scenario, and even that was optimistic. He scrambled frantically, clinching, backing up, desperately trying to make the fight last longer. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua controlled everything with clinical precision, showing exactly why he operates on a completely different level. Logan Paul's failed interference and posturing outside the ropes just magnified their embarrassment even more. Joshua's control was absolute. Every feint, every footwork adjustment, every power shot delivered a crystal clear message that hype and tough talk mean absolutely nothing against a true champion. The Paul's tough guy image collapsed entirely, leaving fans and experts equally shocked at the sheer difference in class.
At the end of the day, Jake had one job, and that was to try and survive. I mean, he was never ever going to win the fight, ever. And if you would have said to me, do I think he'll go 6 rounds? I would have said absolutely not. I mean, I felt that it would take AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, because I knew Jake can move a bit, and he'd be moving off the back.
Spencer Oliver captured it flawlessly. Anthony Joshua commanded the fight with the calm and precision of a master tactician. Jake Paul, despite his frantic footwork and wild swings, was nothing more than a piece in Joshua's chess game. Joshua let him thrash around like a cornered animal, saving energy and waiting for the perfect opening. That single clean, devastating punch that split Jake's jaw was the product of calculated timing, not lucky desperation. Logan Paul's ringside drama only made the humiliation worse, making both brothers appear completely incompetent and thoroughly exposed. Viewers witnessed a perfect example of ring intelligence, timing, and mental dominance. Joshua didn't just claim victory, he destroyed every bit of hype around the Pauls, demonstrating that social media bluster cannot replace real ability. Every action sent a clear signal that Anthony Joshua operates in a completely different universe from the Paul brothers, and any future attempts to challenge him publicly or dramatically would only increase their embarrassment.
For Anthony Joshua, I think that he needed to get the job done inside the distance, you know, and he done it. Look, he could have done it at any given point. I think that he could have cut the ring off whenever he wanted to and got Jake Paul out of there. He took his time on that. He allowed Jake Paul to run around like a rabbit and throw the occasional shot from time to time, and I think he only landed one clean punch, didn't he, Anthony Joshua? And that was the one.
Lennox Lewis perfectly described the absurdity and entertainment value of the whole event. While Netflix viewers got premium entertainment watching Jake Paul's desperate tactics and Logan's failed attempts to interfere, the harsh truth was devastating. The Paul brothers got humiliated in front of millions worldwide. Anthony Joshua's control wasn't just physical, it was completely mental. He owned the ring, set the tempo, and made every wild swing from Jake appear completely amateur. Even those doubtful of Joshua's ability couldn't deny his clinical performance. The Pauls' inflated social media personas and panic-driven theatrics fell apart completely, leaving them exposed and irrelevant. This wasn't simply a win, it was a complete destruction of their credibility, a worldwide lesson in skill, composure, and tactical brilliance. Anthony Joshua's dominance echoed far beyond the ropes, delivering an unmistakable message that hype cannot challenge true expertise. Every combination, every defensive move, every calculated advance reinforced the enormous gap between the world champion and the overhyped siblings, establishing Joshua's dominance and leaving the Pauls to deal with their destroyed reputation.
Netflix have got some wonderful content, and Jake Paul runs around doing what Jake Paul does. So everybody wins, and only the people that don't win are the people that go, well, look at, and even the people that think Anthony Joshua is a busted flush now go, well, that proves the.
Anthony Joshua's display wasn't just about winning, it was a declaration to the entire boxing universe. Jake Paul's panic movement and Logan Paul's desperate ringside antics only emphasize how completely outclassed they both were. Joshua dictated the tempo, controlled distance with perfection, and waited for exactly the right moment to unleash that fight-ending combination, leaving Jake with a fractured jaw and both brothers with their credibility in ruins. Fans weren't just watching a fight, they witnessed a masterclass in dominance, strategy, and championship composure. Every power shot, every defensive slip, every calculated movement reinforced Joshua's supremacy while revealing the Pauls as overhyped amateurs who depend on social media tricks rather than legitimate skill. The big question remains, can Logan and Jake Paul ever bounce back from this public destruction, or has their hype been permanently demolished? Share your thoughts below and smash that subscribe button for complete fight analysis, incredible reactions, and the most raw takes on boxing's biggest stories. You can't afford to miss this. Everyone's gonna be discussing this story.